Hey everyone, welcome to the blog podcast on Leadership Adventure. I'm Marv McCarthy, your host, and today we're talking about standing at the counter. That's our episode title. Before we jump into that though, I wanted to let everybody know that I do have a weekly MailChimp list where I send the blog on Tuesdays and the devotional on Thursdays via MailChimp. So if that is more convenient for you than accessing it either on audio Podbean or on YouTube as a video style podcast, head on over to leadership-adventure.com and you can sign up for the blog or the Devo or both at the bottom of any of the web pages. All right, so today we're going all the way back to my college experience, and I had two part-time jobs as I worked my way through engineering school at ASU. And for those of you non-Arizonans, ASU is Arizona State University, or the home of the Sun Devils. Now there are a couple of other universities in Arizona, but offhand I just can't remember their names. And yes, I'm going to take some heat for that because it's kind of an Arizona rivalry thing. My first job was as a radio announcer at KHEP 1280 in Phoenix. Our tagline was "Today's radio for today's Christian." We also had an FM station that played classical music, so I actually worked on-air shifts at both. It was a great job. I really loved it. My second job was at Scholars Toys, Hobbies, and Crafts, where I pretty much did anything that the owner wanted, from stocking the shelves to cleaning the toilets to selling, handling customer service, gift wrapping, and all that cool stuff. Scholars was in the strip mall on the northeast corner of 16th Street in Glendale. If any of you guys are from Arizona, you may remember that corner and remember the store. So like most retail locations, Scholars had busy and slow periods. It actually amazed me that people would all seem to show up together at the most random times, like they all messaged each other and said, "Hey, let's all run over to Scholars so we can overload that nice young man that works there." Scholars was, in fact, where I developed my bovine attraction index theory, or the BAI for short, but that is a story for another time. Some of you out there know it, and so you may be chuckling at this point. It didn't take long for a line to start forming once these 30 people entered the store, and pretty soon I was getting behind, and the phone was one of those days where the phone was just ringing off the hook. So after I finished up on the call, the next person in line was an older gentleman who looked me right in the eye and said in a very kind voice the following: "Young man, when people take the time to visit your store personally, it is rude to make them wait when you are on the phone with people who are probably just looking for the cheapest price. I'm here because I know Mr. Scholar and I wish to support his business. You would do well for yourself if you learned this valuable lesson now." Ouch. Ouch. And of course, all the 6 or 8 people that were in line behind him overheard his comments and murmured their collective agreement with his sentiment. So at that point, I felt like crawling under a rock. But guess what? He was absolutely right. Most people that called were indeed looking for the cheapest price, and most of them had absolutely no intention of ever visiting the store. There were exceptions, of course, but by and large, this gentleman hit the nail right on the head. I've never forgotten that lesson. It has affected my leadership ever since, and this is probably going all the way back to 1980. The world is getting more connected technologically all the time, but we are at the same time getting less connected relationally. So many of these technological tools are helpful, but if they distract us from our real connections, as the telephone did in my story today, we are doing ourselves a disservice as leaders. So here's a question for you as we wrap up today's episode. Who is currently standing at the counter in your life? Spend some time with them. They've invested the time to show up in person. They deserve a reciprocal investment from you. Authentic relationships may be an endangered species, but it's up to us as leaders to make sure that they never, ever go extinct. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. That's the episode for today, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time.